fresh back from Seattle, Washington, and the 2024 Conference of Grandmasters in North America. And I'm still in a Seattle mood. I've got my 90s era flannel and long sleeve t-shirt on. I've even got myself a nice cup of hot coffee here in my commemorative Space Needle glass. So this is a good way to start a video. Welcome to the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry channel. I'm Maynard Edwards, 33rd degree. Thanks so much for watching. We are just back from Seattle, as I said, and we had a great time at the Conference of Grandmasters. We got to talk to Grandmasters from around the country, members of the Supreme Council, and even the heads of some Masonic organizations that you may never have heard of. And we're going to bring you as much of that as we can. We shot so much video, it's going to take at least a couple of weeks to get it all edited and presented to you. One of the most fun interviews I did, I should say two of the most fun interviews I did, were with our youth groups. The Masonic youth groups are so much fun to work with. We've got DeMolay International, we've got Job's Daughter International, and we've got Rainbow for Girls. And I got to talk to two of our three youth groups there. Let's start with our young men from DeMolay. Always fun to hang out with my buddies from DeMolay. My son, as I've said many times, is a DeMolay, and I'm here with the International Master Counselor and the International Congress Secretary. And these guys have literally been traveling the country representing DeMolay for the last year. You guys will continue to do that through the end of July when things will end up in Arizona. For folks who have no idea what DeMolay is, give us what DeMolay is.
You want me to take it?
No, you can.
All right. DeMolay is a young man's organization where we build different.
We build leadership.
No. There's none of that. No. We're not cutting this.
Oh, that's so fair.
Yeah, it's fine for you. All right. Hold on a second.
Okay. No, I looked at the camera like directly. Eye contact is fine. I looked directly at the lens and just went blank. That was my fault. Sorry.
No, you can't. Just give me that. No. Look, did you see this? He was cheating.
I wasn't cheating. I was trying to help him.
Okay.
I was trying to help him.
Give me your glasses. They're filthy.
I know they're real bad. No, they're real bad. They're real bad. I have not. Don't. Why?
Look, can you see that?
Don't help me like.
How? What is?
Why you gotta help me like?
No, because I've got to clean these. They're making me crazy.
Why join a young man's fraternity?
Right. So while I'm cleaning your glasses like a dad,
Yeah.
please tell me about DeMolay if you could.
Well, I think this is a perfect
and
example.
by the way,
of
the Jobies are over there laughing at you.
Yeah, I'm aware.
That's about how it goes.
I think that this is a perfect example of DeMolay. You know, we are young men who lead and do our best, but sometimes when we don't have our glasses clean, our advisors come in and when they help out.
And
make
I am
sure
a
that
proud
we look,
DeMolay advisor.
Make sure we look as
and look at that, he
pristine
can
as
see
possible.
now. He
Oh
can
my
see
God!
now.
Oh, gross.
Oh, that's tough.
Sorry, my bad.
That's tough.
All right, hold on. Okay, take three. What is a DeMolay? Ryan, you first.
All right. DeMolay is a character building organization where we focus on building up skills that young men can use later in their lives, like business planning, public speaking, talking to adults and people other than themselves, and trying to more branch out and try to build them up as best as we possibly can.
It's for young men to be better.
Amen. And a lot, and it is not part of directly the Masonic fraternity, but very closely related.
Very, very close.
Yes, very close.
So as the International Master Counselor, I'll start with you, Ryan. What is your job sort of day-to-day, so to speak?
So day-to-day, my biggest job is when I travel to these events, I'm the more or less the main spokesperson. I give the speech like I just did at this past Conference of Grandmasters where we were just in that meeting. I work a lot with our region reps, which are youth-appointed young men throughout the country and one or two outside of our country. Work with them on developing reports and figuring out what the overall status of different chapters and jurisdictions across DeMolay is.
And you're, as International Congress Secretary, what your role, you handle a lot of the committees and things like that. So
Yes.
you're doing a lot of the groundwork, so to speak.
So my role, rather than PR, I certainly do a lot of PR when I'm traveling, because sometimes we split up.
Right.
But my main role, I like to say that my role is the internal communications of DeMolay International. So the internal communications of the young men from around the world and making sure that we connect and we collaborate, as well as working with our committees to make sure that we make actual progress as a youth organization going forward. So working on things like education and training, membership, as well as social media and communications, things like that that can increase our collaboration and our overall progress as a youth organization.
Now, I'll toss this one up for whoever wants to tackle it. For folks who are unfamiliar with Dad Frank Land and the early days of DeMolay, give us a little DeMolay history.
Yeah, so at the end of the First World War, a lot of young men were feeling a little lost. A lot of young men didn't have the exact male role models in their life, didn't have the dads, didn't have a lot of things like that. And a young Lewis Lauer, who did not, the rumor was that he lost his dad, but we found out that isn't true. He didn't have a dad around, not because of the war. And what happened was, for Scottish Rite Mason, Frank S. Land, saw him and said, hey, what's going on? And he got him on a job. And after he got him on a job, he said, this kid doesn't need a job. He needs mentorship. He doesn't need, money. He does need that, but he doesn't need just that. He needs adult role models in his life that can give him a best path forward. They met with a couple of his friends and they got together and they started DeMolay. Ever since then, it's prospered and everything like that. So
now, in terms of how a chapter is set up, the officer structure and things like that, you talk a little bit about, and as you're a Mason now, Ryan, can you talk a little bit about how they are similar, and then there are ways that they're different as well?
Yeah. So the biggest thing that was for me is the first time I sat through an open lodge meeting and hearing the opening and closing. It kind of felt really weird because I felt like I should be hearing that for the first time. But a lot of it was extremely similar. We have it's obviously different specific ceremonies and different ritual, but we have.
This is what DeMolay advisors do.
Hey, yeah, look at that. Look at that.
In fact, I'm going to move this here just so the metal doesn't bang.
Yep.
You make them look pretty.
Sorry about that.
No worries. But
all right, what is this? Take 6? Okay.
But it's obviously different ceremonies and different rituals, but the same process of having an opening, having an initiation, having those different degrees, and then also having a closing, holding that business meeting. We follow the same Robert's Rules of Order and parliamentary procedure on everything that they do. It's 100% ran by the members and officers of that chapter. So the similarities between Lodge and DeMolay are bountiful, and it has made the transition for at least me coming from being an active DeMolay to joining a lodge and already being in the swing of things.
How did you make that leap from DeMolay? Because a lot of boys don't. A lot of young men they go on with their lives after DeMolay, and then maybe they'll come back to lodges later on in life. But you, for my son, it was because one, it meant a lot to me, but two, so many of the men in our lodge were DeMolay dads, DeMolay advisors, and heavily involved. Was that your situation as well?
Yes. So for me, the reason why I ended up joining lodge is one of the things is I'm the first Mason in my family since my great uncle, probably like almost 50 years ago. So there was a little bit of the family connection there for me as well. But from the DeMolay side, I would show up to DeMolay events and there would be tons and tons of good men and good people that I wanted to be like because of how they showed me who they are and who they can be. And I wanted to do everything I could to be like them, and that included taking that step in Masonry.
Now, River, how did you come into DeMolay? Do you come from a Masonic family? Was this a friend introduced you? How did you get into the DeMolay?
Yeah, so I'm a first generation, and funny enough, I know the Jobies are over there. Hopefully they don't hear this. But,
they're waiting to make fun of you as soon as they're done.
100%. But my 4 sisters are all past honored queens. And
okay,
one of my sisters is
so
past.
You're Masonic family.
Yeah, past Miss British Columbia. And I was always that 12-year-old running around the Joby meetings, or being or 11-year-old. And then when I turned 12, they were like, "Hey, we should start a chapter," and we started a new chapter. We helped charter it, and we got that going. So ever since then, it's been a DeMolay journey for me, and I, eventually found out DeMolay in Washington exists and climbed up there. So
a parent seeing this might say, "Well, what's the difference between DeMolay and say the Scouts or a church youth group or something like that? What is unique about DeMolay?" I've got a list myself, but what do you guys think is unique?
Well, I heard a great line about this. Boy Scouts will teach you how to survive in the wilderness. DeMolay will teach you how to survive in the world. DeMolay will give you those skills that you can have going forward in business settings and in just regular old life setting. I've learned so much in not just this position, but going through in DeMolay about how to deal with people. It's simple things like that, how to talk to people, how to actually, conduct myself in a professional manner, how to talk in front of a camera, how to do anything, how to, be able to walk up to probably any of these people here and shake their hand and tell them who I am. Most young men my age can't do that.
and that's not to take anything away from Scouts or any church youth group or any other young men's or Little League or anything else. It's just, it's a little bit different.
Because I've been involved in all of the ones you mentioned, the church youth group, Boy Scouts, baseball, sports and everything. But with DeMolay was the first place where I felt like I genuinely had the opportunity to make the changes I wanted to the organization that I was a part of. I really felt that my opinion mattered and that me being there helped the group overall as opposed to just being another number.
Yeah.
So for folks who want to find out more about DeMolay and want to get involved, maybe find a chapter or get started in a chapter, where do they go?
BeADeMolay.org.
It's like they were trained to say that exact same thing. And we'll put that on the screen, obviously. And it is a great website.
It's flashing right here.
Has so much in there for parents to check out.
100%.
And you know, especially Masons, if you don't have a chapter in your lodge, try and find one near you because it has done a lot. I
start one up.
Yeah, I said this about when I talked to the Jovies a little while ago. You know, mine, it's done so much for my kids. How old are you, River?
19. Turning 20 in 2 weeks.
So 19 and 20-year-old. These are young men, both in shirts and ties, and on a 3-day weekend, no less, because they're wearing brown shoes and brown belts. So they're and not for nothing, but these are guys who are set up for future success just because they know how to carry themselves. They're talking to an adult and laughing and we're able to communicate. And a lot of kids can't even look you in the eye or shake your hand at this point. And I don't know that we can 100% credit DeMolay for it, but a lot of it you can. You know, obviously Griffin got some of his, you'll look somebody in the face and shake their hand from me as a dad, but you know, a lot of the way he carries himself and conducts himself also came from DeMolay advisors and his DeMolay brothers. And you guys are examples of that as well. So just parents watching, you know, if you've got those kids who are shy, who are just not able to look up from their screen and make that human connection that will lead them to success, it comes a lot from this organization. And here's the thing, I don't think we mentioned this. DeMolay is different than some of the ladies' youth organizations in that you don't have to be related to a Mason at all. You can walk in the door to a chapter and say, hey, I'd like to know more. You don't have to be a Mason or related to, and there are chapters that don't meet at Masonic lodges and aren't attached to them. Obviously, the fraternities are very closely linked, but they are not one and the same. So you can go someplace and say, hey, my son is interested in this. So if you see that, or you go to BeADeMolay.org, please do check it out. It's done a lot for me, and it's a lot of fun to hang out with these guys. Now, as we leave here, what are you guys up to after you leave here?
For this, so...
No, I meant right now, because your glasses are broken, and I'm going to go take you to get it. Look at this. They need DeMolay. Look at this. I'm putting him on blast right there. This is that stuff that you melt, isn't it?
No, it's Gorilla Glue. So this comes from a great DeMolay story. We were at Disney World. We're at Universal, my bad.
Wrong one.
And I had my glasses on for a ride, and I said, hey, Ryan, I forgot to take my glasses off. Would you please be a kind international master counselor and brother and put them in your pocket? And he said, of course, brother, I'll be there for you. Oh, my bad. I'll be there for you. And I gave him my glasses, and the ride came over and just crunched them right in the pocket.
I would also just like to say that I had 3 other pairs of glasses in this zipper pocket, and his were the only to break.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go buy him a new pair of glasses, and Ryan is gonna pay. So that's how we're gonna.
He broke them.
100%.
He decided not to put his glasses in the locker.
Ryan, International Master Counselor, International Congress Secretary. River, fellas, thank you guys very much. I've had a lot of fun talking to you. I'm sure we'll see you on the road.
Thank you.
I had so much fun hanging out with Ryan and with River all weekend long at the Conference of Grand Masters. They are fantastic young men, and DeMolay is one of the things that really helped shape them into the fine young men that they are. So if there's a young man in your life, whether it's son, grandson, nephew, neighbor, kid, whatever it is, if he's looking for something, tell him to check out BeADeMolay.org, because it is a fantastic organization. My son is highly involved. They don't pay me a cent. I just know what a great organization it is, and you should definitely check it out. And if you're a Mason, you need to go and visit a DeMolay meeting. You need to go there. You're a Master Mason. Any Master Mason can visit a DeMolay meeting anytime. Go there, check it out, pitch in, and help out those chapters, because they are our Masonic future, and they are great to work with. So once again, BeADeMolay.org, or just Google search DeMolay, and we've got all the links in the comments section below. In our next set of interviews, We're going to talk to our ladies from Job's Daughters International. I'm a DeMolay dad, but I'm also a Joby dad, and you're going to want to check that out as well. Thank you so much for watching, and we've got more for you from the Conference of Grandmasters in Seattle.